Okay, so we're going to cover a couple topics that we've already gone through. The basis of this topic is already on my YouTube channel. It's called the spiral pattern. Okay, this exercise is something that we do when we're breaking in brand new students or brand new operators, or when we're using a machine that we haven't gotten familiar with or we haven't used in quite some time. So basically what we're going to do is load the textiles. So I've got the needle thread and the bobbin thread under control in my right hand, back and away at the 1 o'clock position. I'm going to use the presser foot pedal to raise the presser foot and load my textiles in. At this point, I've got the edge of the textile and the edge of the foot side by side. Coincidentally, I've already pre-adjusted the swing down edge guide so that it is in position. Okay, so holding the thread for a minimum of 3 stitches, I'm going to load the textiles in and start my sewing operation. At this point, I can let go of the threads and move forward. So when I approach this corner, what I want to do is I want the tip of the foot to land right on the edge of the textiles. So cycling the machine, I've reached the corner, but I'm still just about 1/8 of an inch away. What I want to do is I want to cycle the machine until the needle starts to descend, and now the tip of the foot is gone past the target. So I'm going to use the reverse lever with my hand and bring the tip of the foot back into position. If you notice, I'm exercising the lever and it's moving the center foot and the needle into position. So I'm going to fine tune and bring the tip of the foot back so that it's exactly aligned with the edge of the textile, and bury the needle all the way 1/4 inch past the bottom dead center, and then release the reverse lever. And now the knot is established between the needle thread and the bobbin and the hook assembly. At this point, I can turn my goods. So I'm going to make a 90-degree turn by stepping on the presser foot lifting pedal or raising the presser foot by hand. For ease of operations, just typically use the presser foot lifter. Turn the goods, and now guaranteed to not skip this stitch because we have used the past bottom dead center technique. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this curved line, and what I want to do is make my pivot after the needle has gone past the bottom dead center. So at this point it's a little bit on the straight side, so here I go. 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to be approaching this curve. So I'm going to position my needle by using the reverse lever, bury the needle past bottom dead center, use the presser foot lift, and just gently turn. Now I'm lined up for the next stitch. So as we move around this turn, I'm going to pivot just after the needle goes past the bottom dead center. Notice how much control you have with the servo motor. Just past the bottom dead center is the moment where I get to pivot my thread. Now I've got a sharp pivot, so I'm going to raise my foot, pivot around, or raise my foot and then make my pivot, and now continue on a straight line. Here we are at the very bitter edge, and coincidentally the tip of the foot has reached the edge perfectly, so at this point I can just bury my needle and make my pivot as normal. I'm going to trim off these threads just for the sake of nice clean sewing. And here we go, down the straight run. So notice where the old thread is and the tip of the presser foot. We'd like to land the tip of the foot right up to that thread. So cycle the machine right up until she approaches, and look, it's about to go past. A 1/16 of an inch beyond, that's not good enough. Space adjust with the reverse lever. Bury the needle past the bottom dead center, and now make my pivot. Okay, so the material has now moved over about 3/16 of an inch. I'm going to adjust my edge guide again. And now move on down. Follow this operation all the way around. Keep your lines nice and parallel, and you will have mastered sewing a straight line, around an inside curve, an outside curve, loaded the material, and now finally offloading the material. What we're going to do is cycle the needle so that it goes all the way up and slightly past the top dead center. So the needle comes all the way up, starts to descend. I'm going to use the presser foot pedal, lock open the presser foot lever with my finger, reach in and do the finger deploy in the thread by pulling out 3 inches of thread here, move out the textiles, and reload the thread with my finger and trim off the goods. Ta-da!